Duncan MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod.
My name is Ichabod Crane.
Name's MacGyver. Colonel Jack O'Neill, SG-1.
I am Batman!
Hello, I'm the Doctor.
So there's this man, he has a time machine. Up and down history he goes, zip, 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 getting into scrapes.
For years, and maybe more than that, right, Mac? But how long has it been? Has it been 6, 7 years ago?
Are you telling me that you built a time machine? Out of a DeLorean?
Hey, now wait a minute. Now wait just a minute.
Human beings were not meant to sit in little cubicles staring at computer screens all day.
I've got something for you.
Oh, merci, Sonor.
Just one more thing, sir.
Oh, boy.
Just like that. Bing, bang, boom.
At this point, I'd settle for the boom.
They'd love it here, don't you think?
This is what I'm saying.
And by the way, where is your podcast? Tell everybody that's here.
Welcome to the Never Gets Old podcast. The podcast of all we love in TV, movies, music, and comics. With your hosts, Mac Jackson and Nathan Shell. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Facebook, and YouTube. Donations at paypal.com, at macwjackson@comcast.net.
Listen to my chapin songs, DJ saying that they're too long. His guitar may be silenced, but his soul goes on and on. Alone again, alone again. His stories were like us, a beginning and an end, alone again.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of the Never Gets Old podcast, the podcast where we talk about all you love in TV, movies, music, comics, and life. I'm lucky enough to have a special guest who I would say was my Facebook friend, Kurt Runyon, who many people, I would think, at least I knew of your group. I don't know how, but Slow Children at Play is your improv group, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
See,
that's
I'm
it.
pretty darn proud of myself because
I forget sometimes, so I'm impressed that you remember. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. Well, you know, like I said, it wasn't just because of you. I've heard the name before. I don't know how. Maybe just other people in the business mentioning it.
Maybe, yeah. It gets around, and it gets around on Facebook a little bit, and social media a little bit. So it's very, that's great,
right?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of how I found out about you. I'm thinking I met your sister about a year and a half ago,
right,
in New Jersey, and she was sweet and wonderful, and connect through Facebook. And then I think through her page, I saw you, and I went, oh, I like this guy. I think he's a kindred spirit. And then you posted something about the Monkees, and I went, yes.
Yes, it was meant to be. Yep. And I think I saw you posted something about the Monkees too, or commented something with her. She posted about the mom. I'm like, oh, I got to know this guy.
Right? Yeah.
Monkey folks are the best.
And then through the time, I'm enjoying all your posts. I thought, unless you go with your sister to some convention or something where I'm going to run into her, I don't know when I'm going to get to meet you in person, but there's this thing called the internet that I think can make that happen. And so, I thought, what am I waiting for? Get you on and let's shoot the bull.
I love it. Right. And thank you so much for having me, man. This is great. This is fun.
Yeah, of course. Couple things just off the top of my head. I'm always envious of your food picks.
No. Yep. Yeah.
And it could be anything from the Mexican place that you go to, and I think I said to you, I recognize that place as being featured, I think, on Flipping Out a couple seasons ago.
That's right. They did the exterior.
That's right. Yes. I could hear Jeff this whole week thinking about it. I can hear Jeff's voice going, do you want to go back there? Because I think she'll give us a free meal. And that always stuck with me. And I thought, man, I love good Mexican food. I would love to know what's so special about, that place. And then you're posting pics because it was featured in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes, yeah, and it was great to see that because my whole life I've been going there since I was a kid, and then I'm seeing the movie and I didn't have any spoilers, and all of a sudden there's the big neon sign and they actually walk in. I'm like, wow. And there was no 45-minute wait like there usually is there,
Really?
So, yeah, it's usually a very happening place. Yeah.
What's the name of the place?
Casa Vega.
You're right.
Casa Vega. It's been around forever, and it's gotten more pricey. It's gotten definitely more expensive over the years, but it's more the ambiance is great. It's super dark in there, If you go during the day and you walk out, you're like blinded. It's like walking out of a movie, like a matinee. It's just a great vibe.
Well, tell me about the food. Is it heavy? Because typically, now I'm in Pennsylvania, so a lot of, how would I put it? A typical Mexican place, you're going to hurt when you come out of there.
Right.
But there was a place that my wife and I don't know how many episodes you've heard, but I've mentioned this in the past. There's the Jackson curse, where if we love a restaurant, it's going to close.
Okay,
Like,
right.
It could be a McDonald's and we'll put it out of business. It's that type of thing. So this started with a place called the Hacienda near us. And this place was different because you had shredded chicken. Everything was fresh. You can eat like a king and walk out of there and not feel like you're going to die.
Right.
A lot of places are just, meat, lettuce, cheese on everything, and you're going to hate yourself when you leave. Well, This place was our it was such our go-to that we would walk in, they'd go, oh, here's your booth. Do you want the regular? Yes. Like we would, we wouldn't have to order our appetizer or our meal. Like it was one of those. I had my bachelor party there, and then we walk in one day and they go, oh, are you here to say goodbye? And we're like, we just got here. Where are we going?
Oh no. Oh no.
And they're like, oh no. Tomorrow's our last day. The folks who own it are retiring. And we're like, there's a picture of me with tears, because they gave me a menu to keep.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's nice they did that.
Thankfully, Cindy was able to figure out their enchiladas.
Oh, there you go. So you get to, keep it alive a little bit.
But I'm telling you, ever since then, we don't say any place is our favorite because I swear they close.
Yeah. You learn not to get attached.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Sure.
Oh, it was funny too, because the folks who retired would come and hear us perform. And the one time after a show or during our break, Cindy runs over and says, listen, I know you wouldn't give me your recipe. Because she's like, well, I might make a cookbook. Well, she never did. And Cindy said, I think I figured out your enchiladas. And she like whispered it into her and she goes, you've added some stuff, but yeah, that's basically it.
Oh, right.
But she can't figure out her chili because it was like finely ground meat.
Oh, wow. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
that was like there.
My point is, when I see you post those pictures, I'm like, it's so far away.
Yeah. Right.
Even like the small town, you did one of the burger joint with the Texas sauce over the burger, I think, the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Where that was. Yeah.
Monkees or something like that.
Oh, the Munch Box.
Yes, that was it.
Yes.
So
that place has been around since the 50s. I finally went there. It was great.
Was it?
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it's an expensive place.
No, it's still cheap. It's been almost 50s prices somehow. I don't know how they do it. You know what I mean?
Well, did you ever have a Top Dog in your area?
No.
Okay.
No, we didn't.
We
have
had the equivalent of that place. It was called Top Dog. And there was like 2 of them. And it was an arcade, but for like a nickel and a quarter, you could get like Texas wieners or a cheeseburger. Up until about 10, 15 years ago, it was the place to go. I mean, you'd again, $5 and you could pay for a family to eat 3 times.
Right.
Well, it's gone. You know, how long can that last?
Yeah.
But I figured when I saw your picture, I'm like, oh, that takes me back.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Right?
Yeah. I love those little hole in the wall places that have somehow managed to stick around, and, you know, they're mom and pop. And, you know, I try to go to mom and pops as much as possible, you know?
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, but there's a quality, there's a common factor in all the processed food that you go, I'm done. I gotta take a break. I can't go to, you know, wherever corporate, whoever, over and over again.
Right.
You know, and if you get someone like a mom and pop where they care, oh, you're set. You feel the love in the meal.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So I've been living vicariously through you.
Oh, right on. My pleasure. My pleasure.
Especially since this whole pandemic thing.
I know. It's one of my hobbies is taken away from me now. I can't go to these, you know, I can do takeout. I'll do that sometimes. But I try to do that sparingly. I try not to go out too much. You know, I'm trying to keep it as low key. But but, you know, food places and my record store, things I miss the most.
Okay, that was the other thing, too. You still buy vinyl.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys.
That's okay.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I love it.
I appreciate that because, you know, you appreciate the fine differences. Like, it's like I don't drink alcohol, so I could never be a wine guy.
Right.
But I drink coffee, and I can appreciate that. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just love the artwork, and then the warmer sound you can get on things, and just you know, I love finding a cool record I wanted for, like, you know, $5 or $6. Like, the record store doesn't know what they have. You know, that's always fun when something like that happens. Yep.
Well, I'll tell you something. When I've always been maybe 10 steps behind whatever the current trend is, because I don't want to fall into the fad, or, God forbid, do a Betamax thing where you think it's going to go one way and it goes another. So I give it some time. Well, this gets into, I'm sure, our Monkees conversation, because I have questions for you. But back in '86, I didn't have CDs when they first came out. I don't even know if they were out in '86. I think it was late '80s, early '90s, as I recall. But I didn't have a tape, like a stereo tape player. I had a tape, like a square, you know, there's no stereo. Well, my father still listened to 8 tracks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so I thought, all right, I have a record player, but the speakers are bad. Like, they buzz.
Oh, yep.
And I remember going to the mall, flipping through in the middle of the walkway, somebody's selling their used records, or, you know, and a guy who didn't know what he had. I got 2 things that day. I got Loose Salute, Mike Nesmith, the First National Band. Yes.
Oh, nice,
on vinyl.
man.
That was my, again, this is 86, 87. The Monkees had just exploded, and I didn't quite know everything. So to find out that, wait a minute, Mike Nesmith, who I love in this band, has done other stuff, that was how I found out. So I scoop it up, and I turn to my mother, because I didn't have, you know, I'm 10, 11 years old, maybe.
Right.
I need this. Well, maybe we'll come back and get, no. I'm not leaving without this. So I got that on vinyl, and I got the other thing the guy didn't know he had, a poster of the Monkees and Jimi Hendrix for Florida.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it's just one of those
those
screen
handbills kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for all I know, it was a copy of a copy, who knows? But he had it for like $1.
Oh.
And I'm like,
nice.
To see the Monkees with Jimi Hendrix in Florida on April or June 7th, I'm like, I need. And remember, posters and stuff weren't easy to find at the time for the Monkees. Now you can just go online and get anything you want.
Exactly. No. Yeah.
But
now, back then,
oh man. So those were my two finds that day. And I would go home and I played it. And, I'm hearing something other than monkey stuff. And then here comes this one song fading in. And it sounds familiar. And it's Listen to the Band.
Right.
With the First National Band.
Yeah.
I still get the chills every time I hear it. But I remember going, nobody's going to understand what I'm feeling right now. Because my parents don't,
Yeah. And you're like, don't you know what's happening right here, right now?
He did it again. The song he did it again. And it's different.
Yeah.
But I had to tolerate the whole buzzing of the speakers that were only, yay big.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
you dealt with it though, huh?
Without a doubt.
Yep.
And then eventually, I got Headquarters on vinyl. So, all right, Headquarters. Okay, now I got that. And then eventually I made the switch over to tapes. And I'm like, let's just get everything. So for that Christmas, my birthday the week before, every album, just get me everything anybody possibly can. And I remember my aunt buying me the Arctic Monkeys.
Oh, right, the band?
Yeah,
yeah.
Monkeys? Well, it says Monkees. I'm like, no. And I kept it because I didn't want to hurt her feelings. But
yeah,
not the same, not even spelled the same way. Come on.
It's not even, come on. There's no wool hat. It's spelled wrong. Come on. I know. It's funny. It's always, people mean well, and you're like, I know.
Right?
People do that with me. Like, I'm a huge Springsteen fanatic too. And
I saw your picture with him.
Oh, yeah, I got to meet the man.
Nice.
I waited 12 hours to meet him, but it was always funny because, like, my mother-in-law, she's really sweet, but she'll, like, buy me, like, his new album that's coming out, like, 2 weeks later, and I don't have the heart to tell her, like, I bought it right when it came, but I'm always like, well, it's good to have it. Or his
Without
book.
a doubt.
And I'm just like, thank you. But, like, it's like,
yep.
Like,
even if it's something for the shelf, you can say, there's the physical copy. I have the digital or whatever.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's sweet, but it's always just like, I'm always on it. Don't worry.
The conversation would have helped a long way with this.
Right, yeah. And not to be ungrateful or anything, but you know what I mean. It's just.
I'm with you. I know.
Yep.
Tell me about, how did you discover the Monkees?
I discovered them as a little kid in the 70s. I guess I had to be what they call a second generation fan, I guess.
Yep.
It was on
the original repeats.
Yep. On syndication. I think it was Channel 5, KTLA. So I'd watch that, and that was fun. And my brother Jeff had a lot of the Monkees albums, so I grew up kind of listening to them a bit, along with the Beatles and everything. And then that was it. And then it kind of laid dormant for a long time. And then my buddies Rob and Matt were big Monkees fans, and they were playing them a lot in the 90s. And that's when I started getting a little deeper into it and digging it. But I still didn't I didn't totally jump in yet, but I was totally loving it, particularly the Nesmith stuff.
Oh, of course.
I was just prone to, I love it all, but that was prone to that. And then about 8 years ago or so, when my mom passed, I was just kind of looking for something different to listen to, just to kind of, feel good. And I had one of those one of the hundreds of best of the Monkees.
Oh,
songs.
sure.
And I kept listening to that. And once again, I just kind of kept going to all the Nesmith songs, like Sweet Young Thing, What Am I Doing Hanging Around? And I was just like, this is great. So then I'm like, I got to start picking up albums. And I was talking to my buddy Matt, who's like a major Monkee head, and he would kind of guide me. And then I just got obsessed. So learning about them, and
it's a what's the word I'm looking for? A rabbit hole you go down, and it's a wonderful story.
Yes.
These four individuals who are not necessarily alike came together, and that's part of the magic, is that dynamic of each individual.
Yes. Yeah, they all brought their thing to it, right?
Yeah.
And all distinct, different. Like Davy Jones kind of brings the theater,
the
Broadway kind
stuff.
of, Nesmith, the country rocker, songwriter, Dolan's the showman, Peter Tork, the actual really good musician. You know what I mean? So you got all those personalities.
Yeah.
And
well, it's funny too, because I always say this, Peter could play a lot of instruments, and I'm, my son, my children, my whole family, but on their own, through osmosis, my kids have discovered the magic of Nez and the Monkees. Right. And so we'll have these conversations, and where Peter was maybe able to play a lot of instruments, he was better as a harmony guy than a lead singer. You know what I mean? And that's
Absolutely.
not to badmouth anybody, but there are bad songs that he's contributed that, and that's not just because of him singing lead, but do you have, you must have it. You have the Just Us album?
Don't have that one.
Okay.
I did hear it once, though.
There's one track. Now, it's a great album except for two things. Nez needed to sing lead a whole lot more.
Right.
But you could hear him on every track. And they should have, through their careers, harmonized more. Because when the four of them are together, like the beginning of She Hangs Out, that do they run, right?
Yep.
So you would think the people that were listening and making the calls early on should have said, get the four of them in the studio all the time to record together, because just their vocals are amazing.
Yeah.
There's a song on Just Us that Peter puts in there that I would have said no 1,000 times to. The album should have been broken up more, because the rest of the songs are great. Right. But there's a song that Peter does called I Believe You that will make you jump off a cliff, because it's such a minor key. And it's, I believe you. I believe you. It doesn't get any brighter than that.
It doesn't.
No.
Just stays right there, huh?
And then there's another song on one of the Missing Links albums. I think it's the third one. Merry Go Round, I think it's called.
Right. Yes.
That's another one that just no, dude. Just stop it.
Agreed. Yep.
Right? Whereas the other three have a bigger range. I mean, Nez alone, we can go on for hours. Clearly,
absolutely
your favorite too.
Yeah.
But I will say there's a handful of songs of Peter's that are phenomenal.
Oh, sure.
That should have been put on albums that weren't until Missing Links came out.
Right.
Lady's Baby.
Yep.
What's
the one? Come On In.
Come On In. That's the one I was just thinking of.
Come on.
I can hear it in my head.
Yeah. It's gorgeous.
Right?
Yeah.
But apparently what happened, from what I understand with Lady's Baby, was by that point, he was really into the drugs and the partying.
Okay.
And when he went into the studio to record that for the Birds, the Bees, and the Monkees, he took 3 hours. I may have the time. It could be longer. But basically, he wasted the whole day hanging out with his friends in the studio instead of getting to the freaking song.
Yeah.
Where
right.
they've always said like Nez was the one to go, come on guys, let's, like
right.
Nez, the whole reason Just Us happened was because Nez came to them and said, are you guys ready to make a new album? Because I just want to keep making music. Why, we're all still here. Let's go. Well, that's, I guess, because you remember Peter left.
Right. Yeah.
And I think he says it's because they weren't making the music he wanted, but I think he was too much into the partying.
Right. Got swept up in that. Yeah.
So Nez and the other two, I could see Nez go, that's okay. That's fine. We could do something new, and let's start cranking out music. And then Mickey and Davey kind of just go, I'm happy singing I'm a Believer for the rest of my life.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And Nez goes, no, we could do more. We could do better. And that's why eventually he ends it, because if you're the only guy rowing the boat,
yeah, your arms get tired.
You're going to burn. Yeah, you're going to get frustrated and burn out, which I think is why he left the tour, the Just Us tour. I mean, I'm sure you know that history. They were in Europe, and then he didn't come to the States when I got to see them. I got to see the three of them, and he had just said, I remember his quote, and it stuck with me. He said, I have better things. Come on, guys, after we get done with this tour, we'll get back in the studio. We could, and the other three went, we could just sing I'm a Believer and make money. And his quote was, I have better things to do with my thinking. And I love him for that.
That sounds total Nez. I
right?
Totally,
like, keep going. Many irons. Yeah. That's one of my personal driving forces. Don't just do one thing. Work hard to add to the world,
Yeah, keep challenging yourself and
have more than one iron in the fire.
Yeah, 100%.
So, but now him and Mickey are out touring all the time.
Right, exactly.
And do you have the Good Times album? Yes, you do.
Oh, yeah.
I know you do. Because I think when you got it, that's when I'm like, oh, he gets it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was a big time when that came out
album
for me and my buds. Oh, great.
Well,
beautiful.
And when they announced it, I remember thinking, this is on the internet. I'm not going to believe it until and then they're like, no, they are coming out with the new album. And I went, wait a minute. Is Nez on it? Because he wasn't on Pool It.
Right.
And that album would have been 1,000% different with him on it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because they didn't even play their own. They didn't play anything on Pool It. They just kind of went in, sang their song, and left.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine album, but you can clearly changes and Pool It are perfect examples of what the Monkees would have been without Nez.
Perfectly said. Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
Like he is the definitive factor in their legitimacy. And that's basically it. He made them a band.
Exactly.
Peter agreed with them, but Peter was never going to be the driving force to fight against the man.
Right.
And make it happen. Where Nez was like, oh no, we're doing this.
Yep.
So I always say, in my mind, I think of the Monkees as Mike Nesmith and the Monkees.
Yeah.
Which isn't to take away from the other three.
Not at all.
But it is bumping up the significance of Nez being part of it.
100.
Right?
100. Yeah. He made them, songs he contributed, just astounding. Just as good as anyone else at the time, any of their peers.
And he
was
funny.
right up there with them.
Oh, without a doubt.
Easily. Underrated, man.
Underrated. And I've spent from 86 for, I guess, the rest of my life, but defending them and promoting, like basically spreading the gospel of Nesmith is really what it is. Because as one of the things I love about him, and also want to strangle him for, is he's humble to a fault. He will brush off any giant compliment, which I love because I don't want him to be arrogant.
Right.
But there are times Cindy and I both go, just take the freaking compliment, you know?
Yes.
Right?
I know. Right. Exactly.
Oh, so
I know.
Remember, for me, like, I didn't know about them in the 70s. You know, they come back into the spotlight in 86, and the world goes nuts for them. I remember all the kids at school, and I went, I'm not following a fad.
Gotcha.
I will discover this later on my own. And by that summer, I'll never forget it. I'm flipping through the stations. I think the episode was Don't Look a Gift Horse in the Mouth, which is very early first season episode.
Right.
And they're doing the commercials where it's Mickey. He hadn't gotten his teeth fixed yet. And his hair is still in a big fro. But he's talking, hey, Philadelphia, the Monkees are coming. And I went, I don't know which one this is. I wonder if I'm going to be able to tell the difference between them. And the show starts, and right away, I see Nez, and I go, that guy. I like him. I connect with him. I love his natural way, because he doesn't think of himself as an actor.
No.
So natural in everything he does.
So natural.
And he was only 24 or so.
Yeah, a kid.
I still look at him I can watch the reruns now and never feel that I'm 45. Like, he's still always the guy I'm looking up to.
Yeah.
An old soul, I would say, right?
Yes.
And then to hear Papa Gene's Blues, I'm like, like doors opened. I realized, oh, so this is what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. I'm going to be at least a singer. And then to find out, wait, he's a singer-songwriter, I'm going to do that too.
Right on. That's
right?
Awesome. Yeah. Yep.
But you got to hear them in the 70s. They were not even mentioned until their reunion for me. I never heard anything on the oldies station.
Right.
Nobody ever mentioned them in conversation. It was the same thing for Cat Stevens until, 20 years ago, I'd say.
Right. Yeah.
He went away.
Yeah. And I think I was just lucky too. I had the benefit, like when I was a little kid, like, 5, 6, 7, 8, my brothers and sister, they were teenagers. So they were like checking all that stuff out. You know what I mean? So like I got to just experience that through them. So I was lucky in that sense that I had that older kind of siblings around me. You know what I mean? So
that is lucky. See, I have an older sister, but she was 13 years older than me.
Okay.
So I was kind of an only child.
Yeah, me too. I mean, other than I'd hang around and listen to their records and stuff, but yeah, I was kind of just on my own. I was playing Star Wars. I didn't have to share my Star Wars toys or anything. You know what I mean?
I remember, again, laying on my sister's bed while she got ready for a date and listening to Styx and Rod Stewart.
Nice.
Hot Legs. I remember that.
Right on. That's great.
And then she's like, oh, here's a stack of my records for you. And it was Styx, Rod Stewart, Grease, the soundtrack to Grease.
Yeah.
Which, as much as I don't need to see the movie for a long time, the soundtrack's fantastic.
It is.
Right? I mean,
100%.
I'm a sucker for harmony. So
yeah, me too. And that's
right?
It's all over the place there. I know.
So, and you're a musician too.
Yeah, I mean, I play. I have friends that are musicians that play, but I can chug along and play. You know what I mean?
Play.
Guitar.
Yeah. Do you have a preference? Acoustic, electric?
I like playing electric. Yeah. Mostly. But I have my acoustic right here.
Oh, nice.
That nearby, and you know, I like to play, but I wouldn't consider myself like a musician. But
Yeah.
my two buddies, Rob and Matt, that I was telling you about, they're really good. Matt's a great bass player. Rob's a great guitar player. So we'll when we could hang out, we'd get together and play. And they play so good that I kind of sound good. Yeah, that's how I look at it. But I used to be in some bands, you know, had fun with that back in the day. But
yeah,
I'm much better at doing comedy. I don't have to be in tune.
Well, it's funny too. That's what I was going to say. How did you pick well, I always say it's a vocation because I can't see myself not singing, not doing music.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so I'm willing to do it no matter what. So it's a vocation. Yeah. How did you pick yours?
I'm doing comedy and performing. I just always had a natural, people would say I was kind of funny or I made people laugh. And then I started doing, I'm like, well, let me try doing stand-up. So I did that for some years, you know, and nothing on a major scale, but I won a contest or two and I would do that. But then I was just kind of like, I always liked the idea of being in a troupe or an ensemble. And my sister would always say, you should do improv. You'd be really good at it, you know? And it's like, yeah. So I kept getting these things from the community college, like their night courses, right? You know, extension programs. There's an improv class. And I was like, it's $70, 65. Let me try it. You know, it's 10 minutes away. If I hate it, fine.
Never have to do it again.
Yeah. And I did it. And what my wife said when I came home, the look on my face, I was just like, glowing, right? You know, so
because then you get filled with that adrenaline. Like, okay, keep going. Let's keep going. I'm not done.
Yeah.
I don't want to sleep. I want to just keep doing this.
Yeah. 100%. So then the guy who actually taught the Pierce classes is the guy who runs Slow Children at Play, the director, producer, and stuff. And he was like, hey, I do this. He pulled me aside and a couple other people he thought were pretty good. And so I do these 12-week workshops. You want to do it? And I was like, all right, you know, and I did that. I loved it. Did that 2 times. And that was back then. I didn't check my emails at all. I had no reason to. And then one day I'm like, I better just check my emails. And then I saw like a month before I'd gotten an email from him saying, hey, do you want to audition for the troupe? I was like,
really?
I missed the boat. So I emailed. I was like, so sorry. I never checked my emails, but I will check them forever from here on. He's like, actually still haven't filled the spot. Come audition. And I auditioned, and it went well. I remember I walked out of the theater saying, "Yeah, I'm not done with this place. I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna be doing it." Yeah.
See,
and it's so much fun.
Because there's a lot of people who do one form of entertainment or another where they don't have. Okay, they have one of two things. They either don't have enough confidence and they think that they bombed everything, or that they suck, or
right.
Or they go the complete other way and they're just delusional.
Thank you. Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yes. And I never wanted to be the delusional guy.
It sounds like you have that good balance, right?
I got that. Yeah, I do have that good balance. Yeah, I like to think that I do. You know. And through that, it's just been fun too. Like I've gotten to do all sorts of fun, like paid gigs through it too. You know, like doing these. I've gotten PA jobs from people that work on sets and stuff. So I've gotten to do that. So I've got to make money from that. We do these fun things, mock deposition gigs where you go to these like fancy law firms and it's like first-year lawyers and you have to study a case, right? And it's not like a script. You just study the case, the person you're going to be, and they depose you. It's a mock deposition. And
and you get to stay in character.
Yeah, you get to stay in character like all day, basically. It's like 6 hours. And
wow.
Yeah. And those are fun because actually the money's come pretty good for that. It's like kind of, you walk away going, I just got to check. That's so stupid. That's ridiculous.
They paid me for playing?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I better cash this before they catch on and take me away.
I got to walk away before somebody realizes how much they gave me.
Yeah. There's no heavy lifting and they feed you. It's pretty great. So, I've had like all sorts of great opportunities come just from doing this other than, the satisfaction of, performing. And the camaraderie you get, the troupe and stuff. A lot of people have come and gone, but there's a nucleus of people that have stayed. So,
well, and that's what I was saying to you last night when we were going back and forth. Like, I admire the ability to do it in the moment. Like, that's impressive to be. I had Kristen Key on a couple times, and she's doing rather well for herself doing stand-up. And I was saying, everybody thinks they're funny. You get the guy at the party who thinks they're fun, and they could be hilarious at a party, but now put them on stage.
Yep.
And you're not, and for you to be able to not only be on, but you have to bounce off other people who also have to be just as ready and on as you are.
Yep. Yeah. It's almost like playing music in a way. When it goes well, when improv well, it's the same thing. You like, boom, let this person do a solo, let this person do a fill. You just kind of
and you kind of feel where
a little bit.
You can feel where that moment is. All right, in 3 seconds, I'm going to get to say something.
Yeah, you feel that. And
that's impressive, though.
Thank you. It's fun, and the one thing you learn too when you go on, if something doesn't land, don't panic. Just keep going. Just keep going. No one cares. No one cares. Most people out there can't do. I'm not. Or they're terrified for us. Going, I could never do that. So it's like most people are there to. Everyone's there to support you. You just keep going.
That's wonderful. I remember being in college and we'd have improv people come in, and even if they weren't the best, nobody cared because, like you said, there's something about when you choose to sit and watch somebody, it's a welcoming thing. Nobody's there to boo you. Nobody's there to be miserable. It's I'm rooting for you to succeed in what you're trying to do for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
That's by itself. That's a wonderful, inspiring thing.
It's a very special thing. It's so fun. And we're nice. Our audiences are nice. We got a lot of regulars that come and they just love it. And, it's just, it's so much fun to do. We're doing these Zoom shows now.
I saw the pictures. Yeah.
Yeah. It's that's a different,
that's gotta be different.
It's weird.
Because
it's cool though. It's
multiple cameras. Nobody knows when to talk. You're not in a room, so you can't pick up the physical clues.
Right. So, but we kind of practiced a lot and kind of learning a way just in this meantime to do it, so it's not the same as being there, but the show we did 2 weeks ago went pretty good. We were very proud of it. It went pretty smooth. And
well, how do you, again, not to sound like an idiot, but I know each group will do something different. How do you guys start? You go up on stage.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So we'll have instead of scenes, they're called games. So we'll have a game where we know like what the structure of the game is, right? But we get suggestions from the audiences, right? Like, okay, what's a non-geographic location? Someone will say Kinko's. Okay, so now we gotta be at Kinko's. What's the relationship between these people? Ex-convicts. All right, go. And you just gotta. And then there's sometimes within the games, there's little rules you do. If someone says a certain word you got from the audience, that person has to do something. So there's a lot of moving pieces.
Man.
So it's just, taking something out of air and just.
That stress, though, of going, I got nothing.
Oh, yeah. Well, that happens. That happens. Yeah.
But then you go.
Yep. But your castmates, someone will, and you kind of find that way, once you do it long enough and not panic, and you're like, and sometimes people mention places or a thing I've never heard of or something. And it's just like, all right, you're a Power Ranger. You're a green Power Ranger. I'm like, I don't know the Power Rangers.
What's the difference between that and the green?
It's like, I don't know. But, but then you just make it work.
See, that's fun. And how long do you usually do those last?
Our shows usually, the shows usually go about, hour 20.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're usually about 10 games. We do short form improv, which is like this short form, which is like we do, which is kind of like that show, Whose Line Is It Anyway? Remember that show? It's like that, just kind of short little games. Then there's long form, which is more like, I guess that'd be more like classical music or prog rock, where it goes all these different kinds of places. Where we're more like the Ramones or something, where it's just boom, 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 like power pop, So, and there's a place for it all, it's all great, but
Well, how many years did you do stand-up?
I did that off and on about 6 years,
Mm.
off and on. And I liked it, but I was just kind of like, yeah, I just didn't know where to go with it. I just liked the whole Saturday Night Live, that whole kind of ensemble.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I would think that much like we're saying when you play with somebody musically, it's the same thing doing improv because you're inspired. Whereas if you're by yourself, you're right. You kind of go, it's all on me.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody else to bounce off of. And it's go, 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 go. I don't even have time to breathe.
Right, exactly. And it's fun. I mean, I had a lot of fun doing it, but it was just kind of like, sometimes I think, do I want to go back to trying it and erase some stuff? And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know.
And it'll be there. I mean,
yeah. And if I want to do it, I will. It's going to happen. You know what I mean? But I just can't force it. Yeah.
I was telling you the one time I did stand up.
That's right. I want to hear about that. How was that?
Well, and you could speak to this too. For me, see, when I used to act a lot more, like on stage and local TV or whatever, and that's fun. And I remember walking into my first audition to a play, which I had never done before. I just rode my bike down, spur of the moment, walked in, said, all right, what are we doing? What do you want me to do? Yeah, I can sing. Okay. And I got it. And I got the lead, and it was like,
wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was like a satirical multi-skit kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was called Never Count Your Chickens Until They Cry Wolf. And I was the wolf. Yeah. And I mean, with other things too, but okay. So now I get into acting. Now I'm, this is what I'm going to do. And with the stand-up, somebody, you always had the people go, you're funny, you should do stand-up.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, again, I can be funny spur of the moment, tell a funny story, but when I'm playing guitar and singing for someone, it's not about me. It's about, I want you to feel what I feel about this song.
Right.
Right? Like here's a Mike Nesmith song I want you to hear. So I'm constantly, like, if you were in my neighborhood, I would have already made you a stack of CDs, like that kind of thing. And I do that for people. It's like a kindness addiction because, oh, you like this? Here's a stack.
Yep.
I've done it. People can testify. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if they ever listen to them, but
hey.
Right.
Yeah.
So when I play, it's about not me. It's about trying to get that happiness of.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Because what music does to your soul.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Yes. And to do stand-up, it felt to me, also with acting, me, look at me. Not arrogance, not to say I think I'm something.
Yeah.
But it's in order for you to laugh, you have to pay attention to me, and I'm,
Right.
So I never thought to do it. I'll be the funny guy at the party. I don't need that pressure. And as you know, it's pressure.
Oh, yeah.
Well, before my son was born, as a matter of fact, my wife was pregnant with him. We had gone to a local, it was Wisecrackers was the name of the place. And a night out, let's go, we've gone here before. Let's go to see some comedians. A guy who I've always called him my cousin, even though I don't think we're related. When I was a little kid, he was my age, and he was the first peer that I thought was the funniest son of a bee.
Gotcha. Yep.
Right? And you go,
Yep.
I love him. He's hilarious all the time. Well, he was emceeing it. And he goes, oh, everybody, this is my cousin Mac. And he starts bringing over all the comedians, and I want you to meet him. And, we're having a nice conversation. He goes, you need to come back next week and do this.
Oh.
And of course I go, no, right. I can't. I'm not doing that. And he goes, seriously, you should. I dare you. Now, I don't fall for that. I'm not a peer pressure kind of guy.
Right.
But I thought, I've always kind of wondered, I'm going to stand in front of these people and it's either going to go well or it's not, but I'm never going to see them again.
Right.
Tell you what, you do it, I'll do it. He goes, okay. So a week goes by. I figure they give you 5 minutes.
Right.
I show up. He's not there. You son of a bee.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But no. I've mentally prepared myself. I've already been on many stages. I don't care. This is the same kind of thing, only I'm not singing and I'm not acting. I'm going to tell some funny stories. I remember exactly where we were on the road. My wife is driving me. Thank you, love. Speak of the devil. Got me some Dunkin'.
Nice.
Yeah. We're in the car and she's driving and we're at a stoplight and she turns to me and goes, you're not nervous at all, are you? No. And I said what I just said. I'm never going to see these people again. So we show up. I go up. I start. Now, and you know this too. The hardest thing is to start. Once you get going, you're fine.
Right.
But I always worry about you walk in, hey, everybody.
Yeah.
How's everybody doing tonight? Okay. Where do you go from there?
Exactly.
So I figured out a way to do it. And I said, my wife is in the back here to root for me. Everybody applauds. Yeah, she's pregnant. It's mine. So good.
No, that's good. That's good. That's
right.
Good.
And once you get their first laugh, you're.
Yeah.
So I'm doing it. And I'm trying to, the manager's walking in front of the stage. And she's going to give you you got 2 minutes. Or whatever. Well, she does that. And I thought, okay, I'm going to start wrapping it up now. But then she goes,
oh, really?
Yeah, longer. And I kind of look at her and she goes, It gives me the nod of, yeah, keep going. I'm like, up, all righty. So my 5 minutes was 10 minutes. And I got done with it. And I felt comfortable. And like you said, you feel that adrenaline. And I got off the stage and she said, that was fantastic. Come back anytime. I thought,
nice.
Thank you. Wow, that felt great. And I never went back.
Never went back. But you had that.
Yeah, I mean, and it wasn't any, I did it. And I could do it again. It was nice to know I could.
You could, right? I mean, probably only get better too, because that was just one time. So
right.
So that.
And I heard great things, like people who were there. If I run into them, they still remember it and say nice things. So I thought,
that's great.
Golden. That check. I've done it.
Yeah, done it.
But as you know, there's only so many hours in a day.
Right.
So what are you gonna put your weight behind?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
So you of course go with music. Right.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you why. It's got probably the same thing with you doing the things that you do. I'm more in control. Right. I can still act, and occasionally I do. Well, like I write, act, produce my audio series because I'm in charge of it.
Right.
I'm not doing somebody else's lines. I'm not answering to a director. It's the same thing with playing music. I get to do what I want, when I want, how I want, and hopefully the response will be there. The people will go, more of that, please.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
That's got to be the same thing for you.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
So I think, yeah, all right, I could be in it. You know, my mother goes, oh, you could have been an actor and moved to LA or New York, or a singer and moved there. I said, I could, but I'm still doing it. I'm just not moving anywhere. Like, I wanted to have a family, and nothing is stopping me from doing it. Granted, you know, am I rich and famous? No. I'm doing okay.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
yeah, I'm satisfied doing it. Like, we're not famous, we're not on TV, but I'm very satisfied.
But you are known. I can say that as an outsider. I can say that I knew of your troupe before I knew you were in it.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. That's
and then,
great.
You know, to know you is to love you. So, like,
wow, thank you, man.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
It's, you know, you're doing something that you're passionate about, but you're not doing it because you think you're something. And the sincerity mixed with the talent is what's sending you places. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%.
Because there's so many people in this world that don't deserve the fame that they have. They're arrogant
100%.
or not talented.
Yeah.
Right?
I know. It's like I tell people, I said, it's pretty cool. We have our own little theater. We got our little poster up in the window, you know, we got a actual place to rehearse in a theater every week. Well, when everything was, you know, normal, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's pretty, I mean, we have our own little theater.
Do you get recognized a lot?
I have once or twice, just from like, hey, I saw you in that Slow Children. It has happened. Not a lot, because we have small crowds, but it has happened, and that's always, it's neat when it does. Yeah.
And I'm sure it's going to keep happening too. Actually,
probably. It's cool. I don't mind it.
Right? I mean,
how about you? People, when you're playing around, are people like?
Believe it or not, yes.
Right.
It's mind blowing.
I saw you the other night, kind of thing, right? Yeah.
Not only that, I just did my first couple comic conventions. Now, granted, they were online, but I was a featured guest. Thank you. Like, things are paying off now, and it's not about financial gain. It's wanting to leave my mark on the world. I want to make sure that when I'm gone, people could go, well, Mac Jackson did that. That's because of him. He created that. You know, this thing is still around and talked about because of that guy.
Yeah.
I think it's the Nesmith thing too. He, again, when he gets a compliment, he kind of tries to push it off and give it to somebody else. Like, you know, you say you're a genius. You created MTV. Well, I created it, but, you know, I sold it to such and such, and he pushes it. But you and I are running around telling people you need to appreciate him, because he's not going to talk about himself, but he created this, he's created that. Country rock is because of him.
Yeah.
So I think part of his inspiration to me is that the trying to add to the zeitgeist, the world in a positive way. Right.
Oh,
so
100.
I'll tell you one of the first places, or at least one of them that I can recall. I was at a convention. It was a Stargate convention, and I'm running around having fun, meeting these people, shooting the bull. We're at a brunch where they sit everybody down, and eventually the stars will come over to each table and spend some time with you.
Cool.
Very nice. Well, I'm walking by somebody. I answered somebody's question. They called me over. And as I'm walking back, I overhear the girl go, "Oh, that's Mac Jackson. He's famous."
Oh. Wow. You're like, what? Excuse me?
Can you say that again into the tape recorder?
Yeah. What's that again?
Oh. And then now because of not just the music, but I don't have a record contract, but I'm still getting my music out there. I have a couple singles. I now have enough songs to finally I finished my 10th song last night, actually.
I think, I thought you
did you see my post?
That, you?
I just posted that.
Yes.
Everly's Dance is what it's called. It's about my daughter.
That's wonderful.
And as soon as I could, thank you. As soon as I could stop crying as I sing it, I'll be able to perform it.
Yeah, right.
I'm playing it last night. I'm trying to do the words. Oh, but
drop. Yeah.
People are picking up on my music, and I'm surprised. Where was I? It wasn't my radio station, like my choice of radio stations. And about 11 years ago, I'm in an office and my song comes on the radio.
Get out.
Yeah. After pick somebody that everybody knows, my song was after it. I'm like, that's me. Yeah. And then after that, there was another guy, Pete Murray. Do you know who Pete Murray is?
That name's familiar, actually.
He's Australian, and he's big everywhere in the world except the United States.
Okay.
But he's great. I'll send you some stuff.
Yeah, please do.
But his song came on after it, and I just thought, wow, I got thrown in that mix. So, to have people out of the blue recognize me or just recognize my work, whether it's this podcast or the audio series or the music, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's still me. It's my heart. It's my soul. But you kind of feel I'm doing it.
Yeah.
It's working. I'm not signed to a record contract, but nowadays you really don't need to.
No, you don't. Yeah, it's right.
I have, I don't know. I have this. I got this for Christmas. This is
audio. What is? Oh, that's cool. What is that?
This is the size of it. It's smaller than even this. This is my digital recorder where basically you put the mics in, you put the guitar in,
and
it filters into your computer. So my studio to do this is in the computer. I haven't done it yet, but I had bought, or I had a bigger table size. It was $200 digital recorder, which I thought you plug in, you hit record, you play. No,
not the case.
You arm this, you trigger that, you turn an ostrich on its head.
Exactly.
And I couldn't figure it out. And then once I figured out how to record, well, how do you get it to the computer?
Right.
How do you could do all these multi-layered tracks, but how do you combine them? I just thought, this is not fun. I realized my limit where I can't be the engineer and the soulful musician getting it right. I'm either in it or I'm doing the other thing. But it's 100% one way or the other. If you go 50-50, nobody wins.
Right.
So then somebody that I used to host an open mic a couple nights a week. And one of the guys there said, oh, yeah, you have to get the whatever that thing is. And he told me about it. And I went, how much? That's cheap. He goes, yeah, it's less than $100. It's like $80 or so. I'm like, and it's simple. Yeah. Okay. So I asked Santa, and Santa delivered.
Oh, right on, Santa. That's great, man. That's so cool.
Some of your, again, we can go, and I'm sure we will talk more about Nez and the Monkees, but who are some of your favorite music people? Like, who do touches your soul?
Yeah. Well, Springsteen for sure. Definitely Tom Petty.
Mm-hmm. I got to get into him.
He's got great stuff.
I know.
Beyond just the hits, even his deep cut. People only think of,
Free Fallin' and
Free Fallin' and like that's all wonderful, but oh man, he's got so many deep tracks that are just painfully, underrepresented.
Again,
even by him.
Feel free to post them to me, send them to me.
Oh, sure.
Put them on
Definitely.
the podcast page because you know about the group page, the Forever Adventure Network. That's there. Same thing as the podcast page. Post whatever you want. It's a community thing. So,
right, for sharing, right?
Yeah. So do that.
I will.
But go ahead.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, like Springsteen, Petty, well, Dylan. Really into there's this one folk singer woman, Nancy Griffith. I'm really into. She's not very famous, but she's got a lot of albums out. She's been around for a while. I like her a lot. Cheap Trick. Big fan of Cheap Trick.
I have the I got it because of Don't Be Cruel.
Oh right. Okay. Yeah.
Which I love. That is
great cover.
such a great version. I get chills every time.
Yeah.
But the other great song that always sticks with me, Ghost Town.
Oh, that's a great song.
Right?
Great song. Oh man. Yeah. Oh, that's a beautiful song. They got so many great songs too. They're another one that just they're very Beatle influenced. A lot of
Well, did you know they're Nes fans?
Did they? Are they?
Nes met them about a year ago.
Year ago at a festival or something, right?
And they were like,
That's
"Hey!"
right.
And he was thrilled to meet them too.
That's right. Actually, I remember waking up and seeing that. My mind was blown, like worlds colliding. I'm like, "Oh, this is incredible!" I was texting my friend Matt, "Look who hung out!" I know that's right. Totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that also, I like Kiss.
It's
it stuck with me from when I was 6, man.
Well, and it's also, granted, they don't say no to marketing anything, but their music's fun. It doesn't have to be
in the 70s.
No,
yeah, exactly. It doesn't. I don't.
Not
have
everything
to
is going to be the deepest thing. It doesn't have to be.
Just good songcraft. Especially their 70s stuff. I just love it.
Sure.
And then they talk about the marketing stuff too, and it's funny too. Like, they just packaging of their albums and stuff. But I bought like Elton John albums from the 70s, and there's like posters and 8x10s, and I'm like, they weren't the only ones doing that. Like, and he's a proper artist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Elton John's great too.
But if you can, if you can afford to do that, like I always love when David Gray or Katie Tunstall comes out with their album, but you're also going to get the option on the disc for a concert or a behind the scenes stuff. I'm a sucker for that.
Love that stuff. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, you just mentioned KT Tunstall?
Yeah.
Man, I had one of her albums. It's really
Get
good.
them all.
I had one came
go
out like,
wrong.
Yeah, I really dug it.
Which one?
When she's holding a guitar.
Yes.
On the cover.
Yeah.
For a long time, like maybe 10 years ago or so.
Yeah, that was her official second album.
Okay.
Eye to the Telescope. Then she put out Acoustic Extravaganza, which was one of those did in a day kind of thing. And if you buy it, there's the DVD of watching them make it.
Oh, cool.
And I'll tell you, these type of things, they inspire you to pick up your guitar and
love that.
Something, like write a song, play something. I watch it and I'm like, all right, give me my guitar. Gotta get to work. Drastic Fantastic is the album you're thinking of.
That's it. Yes. Oh,
great album.
So good. I gotta bring that out, man. I haven't listened to that in years.
And I'm telling you, honest to God,
good.
She is my. Like I love the Bangles. So does she. I understand. Like you can't go wrong with them. And Katie Tunstall is she's the great. Oh, how do I put it? Definition of a sincere singer, songwriter, rocker who happens to be a woman. Like she's not standing on a soapbox preaching, I'm a woman, hear me roar. No, she's a musician, and that comes first before anything. And she can do anything. Like she's got such great range, and every album, which is why I'm saying get everything, because
I will.
Cannot
I love that
go
album.
wrong. Is it that one or is it no Tiger Suit? The next one is called Tiger Suit, and that was where I thought, ooh, she might go off the rails here because I heard about it before I heard it. She said, well, it's inspired by a lot of the dance clubs in my neighborhood, which is that, you know, that London-y, hard dance stuff. So I thought, oh no, this might go wrong.
It actually works.
Brilliant, because she found the balance. She said it inspired her, but it didn't overtake it. And when you get it on DVD, it's another one of those where you get, or sorry, when you get it on CD, it's another one that comes with the DVD that will, you'll see why it was made, how it was made, great, you know, behind the scenes stuff, and it'll inspire you.
That's great.
It's so good. And I couldn't get, so after that album, I went, whatever you do, it's like the Marvel stuff. Marvel movies have proven to me that I can just go, I'm not worried. Do what you're going to do.
Right.
You
Just
get to
enjoy.
Point me. I
gotcha.
I don't have to be nervous anymore.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
So, who else? Go ahead.
Another one is actually from Pennsylvania. Langhorne Slim. Huge on Langhorne Slim.
Gotta send me stuff. I don't know.
I will. I've seen
him.
He usually comes out here a few times a year. He's like folk rock punk, but punk is not the right. He's just incredible. He just plays an acoustic. He's got a small little band.
Yeah.
And I've seen him at the Troubadour out here.
By the way, speaking of which, here's a little sidebar. You got to see Nez at the Troubadour.
Yes, I did.
You know what a big deal that is on his history?
So blessed. And I got to do the meet and greet too.
I liked the pictures last night.
I saw that. Yes. Oh my gosh, man.
Isn't he wonderful?
So he was so nice, so kind, such a gentleman.
And just so sweet. I don't know if you ever heard me prattle on, but he's been a mentor to me. Like not just a meet and greet, but when I met him, for years I had sent him letters. And you'll notice on Facebook, he doesn't necessarily reply to people if you post something on his page.
Right.
So, you know, through the years from 86 on, here's this 10, 11-year-old on, occasionally writing a heartfelt letter. I don't know if it gets to him. Right. I don't know if, you know, he cares. When Cindy and I were getting married, we invited him to our wedding because when I met her and she said, oh, I sing in a band. I said, oh, what kind of songs do you do? And she said, well, we do a Mike Nesmith song. And I went, oh, and I hugged her because that was God telling me,
yeah, man,
this is the one. So it was, which is why our band is called Harmony Constant. Right. Because it was the first song that we sang together.
That's awesome.
So we thought, all right, we need to invite him. He's probably not going to come.
But that's a great gesture. Like, hey.
Yeah.
Right?
And so he wrote back to us, wrote back on the response, can't make it, but thank you so much for the invite. Congratulations.
That's so nice. He did that.
I love it. So
I had people I know that didn't respond RSVP for my wedding.
Right?
You know what I mean? That's
amazing. So
that's
I thought,
beautiful.
This is the most I'm ever going to get from him, and that's fine because I'm a mature human being. As long as he's happy and healthy, and he hopefully knows how I feel. And he clearly read the letter that I sent with the wedding invitation.
Yeah.
So okay. So now we've gotten to see him a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And when I met him, I thought, I'm going to have to introduce myself. He's not going to know who I am, but this is cool. We go to see him after a solo show about maybe 5 years ago. I've gotten to see him 3 times in person, and we walk up, we stand in line. We're one of the lucky 50 who got the meet and greet pass. Nice. We walk up, And I reach out my hand. I say, hey, Nez, I'm Mac Jackson. And he squeezes my hand and pulls me into a hug and says, Mac Jackson, get over here, and hugs me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I look at Cindy and she's like, son of a bitch. Figures, God. And he's like, how are you? And so he was as excited to meet me as I was to meet him.
That's
lo
amazing.
And behold, I'm telling you, lo and behold, he had gotten every letter I'd ever written. He said to me, and he kept his hand on me the whole time. He said, I see everything that you send me. Every post that you make, I see it. I said, all of them? Every one. I'll never forget it. Every one. The way he does that.
I can totally see. Yep.
And, any of this, I would die and go to heaven and be thrilled.
Of course.
Okay. Remember how I told you I would make you CDs if you were within arm's reach? Well, I had made him some CDs. I said, amongst our conversation, I said, here's some other guys I think you might enjoy. He says, is your stuff on here? He knows I have stuff. So he has been following my career.
Wow.
And I go, well, yeah, I put them on in the beginning. I don't know. Do you like them? Are they any good? Here's the moment of truth. Because he can go, no, it's good. And just, be nice and kind. And
right.
I would have eaten it with the spoon and been happy.
Absolutely.
He puts his arm around me, and with his other hand, he's like rubbing my arm. He goes, it's outstanding. You should be encouraged. Keep going.
Wow.
Right?
Wow, that's incredible.
Okay. Like, what do you... And again, I'm preaching to the choir here, but he's my number one inspiration musically and comically. Like, this guy means more than I can ever express. To have him know me, like me, and like what I do.
Are you kidding? That's like the boom.
Can't do better.
That's it.
I mean, that we had a nice 10-minute conversation. He signed stuff for us, and I took pictures, not just one, but one with each of us, and, gracious and wonderful. And like I said, mentoring. Like, I only get to see him for a couple minutes every couple of years, but within that time, he's so nurturing and kind to me. Like, and so that's, we figured, I remember I gave him a hug. Actually, it's funny. Cindy says, you've meant so much to me, and gives him a hug, and he hugs her, and he turns, like he gets out of the hug, and I'm standing there and I go, huh? And he goes, yeah. And he gives me a big hug. And wonderful. I said, I hope I get to see you again. He goes, me too. And he really, he double, hand over hand.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
me
man.
too. And so we're thrilled. We think if we never get to see him again, it's never going to get better. Right. I'll tell you, every time we see him, he makes a point. Like, we're in a room full of hundreds. And when your idol, hero, inspiration sees you and goes, hey, Mac, hey, Cindy, out of everybody, and calls out to you.
Think about that, man.
It's funny because we make the joke about, we love him as a human being, as though he were the guy who lived in our neighborhood, like as though he lives across the street. And then it's surreal because, oh, wait, it's that guy. It's the guy we're watching on TV, and it's the guy whose songs we're singing.
Yeah.
And to have those two worlds come together. Yeah.
That's pretty great, man.
And right? And if you listen to the intro to this podcast, I have clips of him talking about me on his own Facebook feed.
I thought I heard, I was like,
right?
wait a second. Okay, well, yeah, okay, yes, okay, I'm not crazy. I was catching that.
So I honest to God could not ask anything more. He even said he wants to come on and do the podcast.
Oh,
which would be wonderful.
Yes.
I just have to get whoever is
the channels,
managing
right?
that.
Yeah.
Well, he's busy right now. I'm like, did you ask him? Because he actually said he wanted to come on.
Right.
You know, we know each other now. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
stranger.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
So I'm hoping that'll happen. But to be talked about in a room that you're not even in is pretty freaking good too.
Oh yeah, my friend. That's amazing.
I know.
That is so cool.
I'm
That
so blessed.
Yeah. I mean, he was just so nice when I met him. He was just super chill and very nice.
And takes that was the thing. He wants to take the time with you. I remember him saying, it was the same thing with Richard Dean Anderson. For years, they wouldn't do conventions because the people in charge would try and rush people through. And they both said, no, if I'm going to do this, I need like at least 5 minutes per person.
Right.
He's not keeping his head down and just signing stuff.
Yep. No, yeah. Like when I asked him to sign the album, and I think you saw the picture, and I had him sign, you get the gum, I'll get the Pez. And it was just so cool, because then he was like, we're like doing a project together, because he's like, well, if you want, I could sign it here, like across like this. And I said, wherever you want, man. I'll look. You know what I mean? It was just like, it was really like it was like so doing something with him, like a project. You know?
Yeah.
He was like, yeah.
He could have just scribbled all over it and said, I don't really care. But he wants to make sure that you're happy.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes. Yeah. He was just, I was on a cloud. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, first time I met him was quick, because it was when he was talking about his book, the
Neptune's
Infinite Tuesday.
Oh, Infinite Tuesday. Okay.
Yeah. It was like a Q&A kind of thing. He was on a stage, I was front row, and then he was signing the book. So, and that was a quick kind of thing. It was like everyone there got to go. So he was just like, thank you for coming. Good evening. And signed, you know. Sure. And that was still cool. I was still like, I won, you know. You know, but the Troupe was cool, because I'm actually hanging out with him in the Troubadour, you know.
Yeah.
Legendary place.
And to know that he was an MC there.
Yeah.
Like when this past year, when I was emceeing the open mics, that's who I thought of. I'm like, Nez, I hope you're proud, because I'm doing what you did.
You're right. Yeah. No joke. Yeah.
I'm making sure this happens. And honest to God, such an influential person on so many levels like that. Yeah. You know, it's funny too, because when I first met him, I said, you know, because of how much, you know, I don't need to tell you. He goes, no, I know. Like, I didn't have to gush to him or explain how much he meant to me. He goes, no, I know.
Yeah, so great.
And I've had my my friends meet him. Oh, you know Mindy Sterling?
Oh, I know that name.
You know her, Austin Powers.
Of course, yes. Yeah.
She's wonderful. Yeah. We met her at one of the conventions where we saw Nez, and she's, you know, we were talking to her, and she goes, "Who you here to see?" We said him. She goes, "Oh, I wanted to meet him. I want to meet him. I met Mickey Dolenz, but he kind of brushed me off." I said, "You're not going to get that with Nez. Nez is the sweetest salt of the earth." Well, I come to find out that her and a couple other people that day had said, "I know your friend Mac." So they're taking their 5 minutes to talk to him about me.
Oh, how funny.
Right. And we saw her later on, and she's like, "Yeah, he's really impressed with you." I'm like, "Oh, thank you, Mindy Sterling."
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you this: next time I do a meet and greet with him, I'm mentioning you.
I would love that.
Nez, I will 100%. Absolutely will, man.
Nate, my co-host, got to meet him. Nate does a lot of cons himself, as he sells things.
Oh, cool.
Credentials is his store, and he'll like sell ID badges that look like Commissioner Gordon's.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but it's real authentic, and it's like $5 for each one, and he'll personalize it. But he was selling at one of these things. And I said, wait, you're there with Nez. Go meet him. Yeah, go meet him. And sure enough, he walked in. He says, hey, I'm friends with Mac Jackson. Oh, come here.
There you go.
So, you know.
That's beautiful.
Can't go wrong. Who else musically? Because that's a deep well.
Yeah, I know. There's so many, right? Yeah. So I said Langhorne Slim.
Well, I saw you post. You had I was looking under your likes. Are you a big Back to the Future person?
Oh yeah, big.
Okay,
I'm a fan of that, and my buddy Rob Klein, he's a huge Back to the Future person. I mean, he owns some props. He
really
he's one of the guys he's restored a DeLorean. No, he's one of those, man. No, he's deep. He's deep.
Oh,
yeah.
If I had the financial means, I'd be able to do that too. You know.
Yeah. Well, if you're ever out this way, man, I'll totally.
Without a doubt.
Have you come over to his house because he also collects.
I'm gonna be in town. It'll be great to see you and all, but can I see the DeLorean?
Yeah, yeah. And he also collects Star Trek, and he's got just amazing props and costumes and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Those are, you know, as far as if you had to pick your top 5, whatever, desert island, Back to the Future that trilogy is perfect.
Yes, 100%, man. Absolutely.
Do you know they make comics?
For Back to the Future?
For Back to the Future, written by Zemeckis.
They were written by Zemeckis?
Yes, by the people in charge of the movies. Continue and fill in around the movie. You get to see where Doc first met Marty. All the little side stories. It's fantastic.
Were those made back then?
No.
Were they
recent? These are the past year or so. Are you a comic book guy?
You know, not huge. I mean, I was like growing up, I was really into Spider-Man.
Sure.
And the Marvel, and then I just kind of lost touch. But like Spider-Man, I love that. Yeah.
I'll tell you,
and I have appreciation for comics, though.
In the last 20 years, the writing has gotten. I think you would love if you were given the right stuff. Brian Michael Bendis alone has come and like revitalized. He's made it where the dialogue is as exciting as, say, the heroes punching themselves in the face, or punching each other in the face, I should say.
Right,
you know,
right.
Usually, people think comics, big fight.
Yeah.
No, it's about the back and forth. So I now get my comics digitally through Comixology.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll send you it if you're interested, because they do give you free comics on there too.
Oh, I'd be willing to check that out.
Yeah,
absolutely.
you can always like sample something you think you might like.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But the Back to the Future comics, they've made a bunch of them. Like there's a whole series. And then some mini series that shows Biff's time when he stole the DeLorean. What happened with him? Yeah.
That's great.
Oh, yeah. And the fact that it's by the same people.
Yeah. So it's authentic. It's legit.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
What else? So I saw Back to the Future. So I'm like, okay, that's one of the things. You know, it's so funny too, because I'm sure as we go along through the years, I'm going to see things that you're going to post and go, that thing. I'll have you. I'll have you on again if you're willing.
I'll be back anytime, man.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But go ahead with your music. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who else, man. I mean, whew.
Well, I mean, like the big ones. Who really?
Yeah,
it defines you, I guess you would say.
Yeah, it would definitely be Springsteen, Beatles, Monkees.
How about Mamas and Papas?
I like them. I just never heard a lot. But
95% of their stuff is phenomenal.
Yes, I bet. And like, there's one of their songs is actually not on the Once Upon a Time soundtrack.
That's the song "Straight Shooter" that Cindy and I perform. We do.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's another one too in there.
Oh yeah.
Another one. Ladies Are Coming to the Canyon.
Yes.
which fits perfectly in the movie. It's so good.
I can't wait to see this movie.
Yeah, it's really good.
Now, were you a big Tarantino fan before?
Yeah. I remember seeing Pulp Fiction was the first one I saw, and I saw that in the theater, and it just melted my brain. I was like, I hadn't felt like that since I was a kid seeing Star Wars or something.
I think, other than the most recent one, I think I've seen everything of his.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because I didn't see Pulp Fiction until a few years ago.
Okay, yeah.
My favorite of his is Kill Bill.
Those are great,
right?
Yeah.
Because
Those
I'm
are great.
I'm a big sucker for action, and it's very comic book like.
Oh yeah, it has that great little anime section in there too. That's really great. Oh man,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's phenomenal. And for me, the thing I always had a problem with him, at least early on, and I think he's getting away from it more, is it would seem in every movie he would do two things. All the characters would curse all the time unnecessarily.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Yeah, yep.
And then people would die for no reason, spur of the moment.
Sure.
Right? Like nothing was ever certain. Your lead character may not make it to the end of the movie.
Right.
So, unless it was something funny like, hey, you shot Marvin in the face. That was done for, which is hilarious.
Right. Exactly.
But it seems like more recently he's gotten away from that.
He has.
Right?
He has.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like, well, I don't know if he's kind of matured or something, but he's definitely, like this movie's a lot different than his usual fare, for sure.
What would be your second favorite of his?
So, Once Upon a Time. Probably Pulp Fiction.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's probably got to be it, because that was the first, so.
I saw Inglourious.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I just saw that about a year ago, and I'm like, this is so good.
It's so good. I liked it even more like seeing it years later. Like when I first saw it, like in the theater, I'm like, this is good. I like it. And then I watched it again. I got the Blu-ray used, and I was like, yeah. I'm like, I love it even more now. You know what I mean? So
and you feel like once you know what's going to happen, you can appreciate the nuances of what each person's saying to build up to the moment.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Perfectly said. Yeah.
Because at the time, you're just going, I don't know what's happening. I don't know. Oh, haha. Okay. And then in the end, you piece it all together.
Yeah.
Right. And then the second time you go, oh, that was very smart. That was very clever.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder. By the way, I'm at 10%. Is it okay if I go and put my phone on a charger or with the sound? Will it affect the sound?
Yeah, I think you're good.
With you?
I think you're fine. I'll try and let you go in a minute. I just.
Oh no, yeah, I want to keep talking, but I just don't want to all of a sudden. I don't want you thinking like, why did he hang up? Why did he hang up?
I'm glad you said something.
Yeah. I just realized I just didn't want to all of a sudden be like, whoop. Hold on one second. Just get churched in here. So I'm gonna take my earbuds and hold on. Okay. Hello?
Yep. You're good.
Okay, hold on one sec here.
Sure.
Oh, here. All right. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, cool. All right.
Are you able to sit? Are you comfortable?
Oh, yeah, I'm comfy.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. It looks like it got weird, but it didn't. There
you go.
Yeah, we're good. Okay,
it's funny because I had Corin Nemec on the MacGyver podcast a couple months ago, and he was it was funny, just like you did. Like he was going about his day as we're talking. He's like, look, I'm making a steak. All right, over here. I'm hammering this. And it's funny because it's one of the most talked about episodes that I've done.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they're like, I felt like I was in his house. I'm like, I know, I got the whole tour.
Yeah, I saw him make a steak and everything. Oh, that's fun.
Do you have favorite female singers?
Oh, yeah. Let's see, Nancy Griffith. I love her a lot. Who else? Joni Mitchell, I just recently in the last few years started getting into.
Sure. I did too. I got into her acoustic-y, the earlier stuff.
Right.
Because eventually they ended up throwing strings on everything and making her do the high voice all the time.
Yeah.
But like Big Yellow Taxi in California, and
Right. Yeah.
that's good stuff.
Early stuff's great. Who else? There's definitely. Oh wait, just had her in my head. Hold on. Oh, Linda Ronstadt.
Sure.
Big on Linda Ronstadt. She had a cover. She covered someone's song that we like.
She did a couple actually. She did Shelley's Blues. Yeah.
Oh, I heard. Yes, that's right. I forgot about that.
You could see it on YouTube. She was at the what is it? The late night Playboy show or whatever, Hughes late night show, where it's her and her backup band.
Yes,
was the First National Band.
That's right.
I'm like, what the? Hey, I know those guys.
Right? Incredible.
I know.
That's
like, wow.
cool.
Well, it's funny too, because when Nez talks about his time at the Troubadour, he'd be like, oh yeah, Eric Clapton would be there, and Linda Ronstadt and Neil Young. And, these are just people that he knew, where we're going,
right.
Whoa, it never dawns on you that all these famous people, other than once they become big, because you figure once you become big, sure, you're going to see each other. But before that, like he knew Peter. Did you know that he knew Peter beforehand?
I did not know that.
He and Peter, Pete would, I guess, Peter was in a band with Stephen Stills called the Buffalo Fish before Buffalo Springfield.
Right.
So it's like the precursor to that. Well, I guess he would do Hoot Danny's or whatever at the Troubadour or wherever. And so when he showed up to the Monkees audition, and I was like, oh, hey, Pete. So, they weren't close yet, but
cross paths and, musician. Yeah. Makes sense though. Right.
It's so funny. Cause then you go, wait, you open mic'd for who? All these big names.
Right. Yeah. Especially LA was such a little community, back then.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people do.
How do you like LA?
I like
there,
it.
Didn't you?
Yeah. I was born in Ohio, but moved out here when I was like 3. So I just it's all I know. Sometimes I'll complain about it. I love it though. I love it.
Yeah. Well, from what I understand, the only complaint is the heat and the traffic.
Yep. That's about it. Yeah.
I guess it's what, bumper to bumper?
Yeah. It's generally, lately it hasn't been with, everyone self-quarantining and everything. So it's kind of like driving around in the 60s or 70s. That's one nice thing about it. But, the traffic's brutal, man. It is brutal when everything's at its as normal. It's awful. But,
that would probably be the worst part for me. That would drive me nuts. But there's so many landmarks that I know I would want to see.
Oh man, there's so that's.
And I don't mean the touristy stuff. I'm talking about the Mexican restaurant we talked about. That's,
right. No, absolutely. And going to the Rainbow on Sunset Strip and the Troubadour.
The Troubadour. Yeah. Which did you hear? They may not be able to reopen.
They may not make it, man. I know.
This is a weird pandemic, isn't it?
It's weird, man.
Nobody saw this coming, and especially you figure, oh, there's something happening. You don't expect the inability to go anywhere, go to a restaurant, go to a movie. There's no new entertainment, by the way. All actors are done for the moment. Like,
yep, that's it.
Who saw that coming?
Right? Yeah. It's all that's it.
And then the fact that we're such a stupid society where there are people who are fighting to get a haircut. Stay in your house.
It's not. It blows my mind.
It's only going to prolong this anyway.
Thank you. Exactly.
Right? If you just relax, watch some Netflix. Yeah. Hey, worst case scenario, you shave your head. Who cares? Nobody's going to see anyway. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Just lay low. Take this time just to,
It's baffling because what was the joke I heard? Last week they announced that UFOs are real and nobody batted an eye.
Nobody eye. Right? You would think that would be all over the place.
But they're like, we got bigger things going on right now.
Right? I know. Yeah, it doesn't make any it's
and like every business is in trouble. Like the fact that the Troubadour, a legendary spot, may not make it because nobody can go. And people still have to pay their rent.
They have to pay the rent. Yeah. It's unbelievable. You just think things like that are untouchable, but then you're like, nope, they're not.
Are you doing well with this whole situation?
Yeah, all in all, I am. Making the best of it. It comes in waves. Sometimes it's like, oh, this is all right, and then sometimes you get dark. But fortunately, my wife with her job, she's able to work from home, so that's good. So we have, a job here, and but everything I do right now is just on hold because I do production assistant work, or I just started doing pet setting stuff, and that was starting to and do that now, and depot gig, so it's just kind of just on a
but at the same time, I think you'll probably end up doing in the meantime what certain people would do, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're like me, you have to be creative.
Yes.
You can't stay still. It doesn't matter how tired or whatever. I have to do this podcast. I want to talk to you. When I'm done talking to you, I could wait and edit this, but no, I'm going to want to keep going.
Right.
So I think you probably have that too. So I think you'll still find a way to find maybe.
Oh yeah. And we do my improv troupe. We still do our Zoom rehearsals every Thursday, just like we did every Thursday at the theater, but now we're just at home. So just doing that. Doing the shows. I have been playing more guitar lately, which has been fun.
Do you play are you a rhythm you don't try and do lead, do you?
No, maybe a little bit, but mostly just rhythm. Yeah, I'm a rhythm guy.
Are you again, I knew music would come up a lot. One of my if I had to pick my very close second biggest influence after Nez, it would be Harry Chapin.
Oh, nice.
So from him, I learned how to strum and pick all in one song.
That's cool.
Like the first song I chose to learn stupidly was WOLD. Which if you know the song, is not Mary Had a Little Lamb.
No.
This is picking and strumming, and with Harry Chapin, either do it right or don't do it at all. You can't fake it.
You can't.
Like with I have a songbook, Easy Ways to Play the Beatles songs. But you can't do that with Harry Chapin because it's such a roller coaster of emotion.
Yeah, it's a big part of it.
Yeah. So, I forget what my point was, but talking about you strumming or whatever. With Harry Chapin, you kind of have to pick at times.
Right.
So I'm not the guy to do the guitar solo and do the Eric Clapton-y fancy stuff.
No, me neither.
But I can give you the guts of it. I will,
Yeah,
I could play a song by myself on guitar and you're going to get the full influence, but I'm not the guy who's going to be the technical guitar
guy.
Guy.
No.
How long have you played for?
Oh man, see, I'm 48. I started playing when I was like 12 or 13.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I was pretty young. Yeah. Spring was the one that got me to want to finally play.
Really?
Yeah, bizarrely enough. Yeah.
You've heard the stories of him talking about how he was friends with Harry Chapin.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. They ran. Yeah, that's pretty great.
He showed up at his tribute and sang.
Was it something about taxi?
No. Taxi is Harry's first hit.
Right. Oh, what was it? Yeah.
I could hear his voice. It's right there. I know it. It's so funny. I know Harry Chapin stuff like the back of my hand, but now the words are escaping me. Boxes full of silver. Anyway, this is not entertaining for people watching or listening, but it's going to bother me because there's a W there, I think. Anyway,
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to find it. We're talking. You keep telling me about people who are on your list, and I'm going to find it because I cannot sleep until we find this.
We figured this out.
Yeah. Of course, my phone won't open the way it's supposed to. Do you know who Father John Misty is?
Heard of, but don't know. Don't know the stuff.
That's his stage name. He did this one album called Fear Fun. I'll send it to you.
Okay, cool.
He's kind of hit and miss with me because he can be kind of not vulgar, but crass with some of his lyrics.
Okay.
But this one album is perfect. It's got such a great beat. Here we go. Remember When the Music. That's what it was.
That's it. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And it's funny to hear him tell the story because I've seen him do it a couple times on there. And I think like at a behind the music kind of thing where Springsteen's talking about how he'd run into Harry and, you know, Harry would keep him and just talk to him.
That's right. Yeah.
Be giving him advice, you know?
Yep.
Yeah. There's some people who I don't know how you are. You seem to be more open than I am to different kinds of music where I am infamous for being not stubborn, but a pain in the rear end. I'm a very harsh critic.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But if someone is able to get in there, I get everything. I want
go deep. Yeah.
There's a couple, Father John Misty, who is Josh Tillman is his actual name. He had that name and then he switched over. Jeremy Messersmith.
Never heard.
He's a great mix. I always say he's like a cross between Paul Simon mixed with the quirkiness of Elliott Smith.
Oh, that's good. I like both of those. Yeah.
Right. Elliott Smith I got into right before he died. A friend of mine made me like a mixed CD of him. He's not the strongest singer, but there's a sincerity and an emotion with that I love.
Yeah.
So Jeremy Messersmith, I'll send you some of his stuff too. But yeah, I'm always like on the lookout.
Oh, me too.
Very hard to find.
I know.
How about I'm just running through my catalog. Alison Krauss and Union Station.
Oh, she's great.
Right?
Yep.
I remember finding out about her and right away, everything she has, I'm going to get.
Go deep. Yep. Oh, that's so good.
Right?
Yeah, her song was my first dance at our wedding.
Really? I know which one you're going to say, too.
Never define. You say it best when you say nothing.
You say nothing at all. I knew
so great.
Right? She did, I think, a cover of, it was either a Beatles song or a McCartney song.
Oh, yeah, I Will, right? Wasn't it I Will?
That's the one. Good memory. Good. Nice.
Thank you.
Oh,
I can't tell you how Bill becomes a law, but I could tell you. But I remember I Will.
That's okay. We're at the right place. But yeah, like Mama Cass had such a powerful voice.
Yeah.
And it's funny to watch my kids now. My son is 11 and he like is deep enough soulfully that he's appreciating the nuances and I see why I love their voice and I love like that song from that person. I'm so proud. So much so that he gets annoyed at the kids in his class because how do you not know who Mike Nesmith is? Well, you're going to know who he is now.
Right.
And, and he'll come home and tell me how frustrated he is.
Oh, bless him, man. Oh.
But I'll tell him, look at it this way. You're educating them.
Right.
Like what I was starting to say with you was back in 86, I get into the Monkees, and for that year, everybody loves them. And then it was cool to not like what you liked last year. So a lot of the kids would turn and go, the Monkees, you like them? Like, wait a minute. 3 months ago, you did too.
You were all in. Yeah.
So, and then they would go with the whole rumor thing of they didn't play their own instruments and Mike Nesmith doesn't like the Monkees. So
right.
From like 87 up until maybe 10 years ago, where a new generation came along, I had to defend and, fight to get the truth out there. Now it seems like the last 10 years, people get it right.
There seems to be a turnaround, right?
Right? I mean, the fact that you got
more or anything.
The guys from Death Cab for Cutie writing songs for the Monkees.
Right. Darn fine song too, man. Gee whiz.
Right? Simon and Garfunkel.
Love them.
Right?
That's another one.
Together and separate.
And separate, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know as much as Garfunkel stuff solo, but Paul Simon I know pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, I have all their stuff.
So, yeah.
So good. And I find with Paul Simon stuff, I tend to appreciate the deeper cuts.
Oh, yeah.
Because everybody knows what gets played on the radio. It's like, I never need to buy an Eagles album because I hear it all.
Yeah.
It's great, but I can't appreciate it because it's been crammed down my throat my whole life. But like, every man's ceiling is another man's floor.
Here Comes Raymond Simon, right?
Yes. Yeah. The majority of the songs on that, I had never heard and loved them so much.
Stone cold masterpiece, man.
Was a sunny day. Was a sunny day.
Yeah.
Right? It just great. And what's the one from what was the album that came after that?
Oh.
It's like a tan where he talks about, I know the song. I Do It For Your Love.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That is such a brilliant song and so sincerely sung. The other day, Cindy and I were watching the videos of when he was on The Muppet Show and on Sesame Street.
Oh, wow.
And it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's a rabbit hole. Yeah. Just to watch him do songs that we've heard a million times, but it's just him and the guitar.
Yeah. Oof.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
I know another person that we both love, Jim Croce.
Oh, dude, thank you.
He never had time to write a bad song.
Nope, that's a good point. He didn't. Yeah, he never had time to write a bad song. That's so true.
You have all his stuff?
No, I mean I just had the greatest hits, and then I got the the
Time
album.
in a Bottle.
No, one's got One Less Set of Footprints. Oh, what's the name of that album? Oh, shoot. Good.
See, for me, I always got the greatest hits and then filled in the rest.
Right.
Because everything came out on DVD as like a double disc. So I'm like, give.
Right. Yeah. But the one album I have, like the actual just full studio album I have, is great. I can't remember the name of it. It's wearing a denim shirt. It's got One Less Set of Footprints.
Yep. Again, you can't go wrong with any of his stuff.
No.
And his wife, Ingrid, they were singing partners originally.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Okay. Another thing. I'm warning you now. You're getting a lot of videos from me.
Please do, man.
Okay.
I got a lot of time nowadays. No more.
But I'm telling you, it's good because they're all great. He had an album out with her called Bombs Over Puerto Rico. And they marketed themselves as Jim and Ingrid Croce. The brilliant thing about them together was whoever sang lead would, during the chorus, sometimes would switch and do the harmony and then come back. So they're doing this through the whole song.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it's
That's
great.
incredible.
It's just as good as his solo stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, she's a Facebook friend, and I sent her, one or two of my songs. She liked them. Like,
nice. Boom.
Yeah.
So was that album? Did they do that before he did his solo career?
Yep.
Okay.
See, originally he was, I think, her music. No, he was the judge at a talent show that she was part of, and next thing you know, they're a couple, and they lived near where I am, closer to Philly, but yeah, they were out there together, and then she was going to stay behind. I think they were planning on having kids. And then he went out and got picked up on his own.
Okay. Yeah.
And then it's funny too, because we know him as the legend now, but I guess at the time he didn't think he was making it.
Right.
Because the contract he signed stuck it to him.
I remember seeing like a behind the music or something years ago about this. He didn't die he didn't have a lot when he passed, right? I mean, He wasn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, apparently he had written a letter to her and sent it, and she got it after he died, where he was saying, I'm thinking I'm done with this touring thing. I might give up music altogether, which I don't think would have lasted, but
right.
He was going to stop like pushing so hard. He was just going to pay. Basically, he bought a loan against himself is the way the contract was. We're going to give you $10,000, but with that $10,000, you have to buy your own,
Yeah.
So, yeah, it sucks that's what happened.
So brutal, man. I know. He's so great. I got so excited because just recently I found out that I live in Woodland Hills, California, and I learned that about like 5 minutes away, there used to be like a music venue, like a little theater, and I saw that Jim Croce had played there. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, Croce was in Woodland Hills. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, I'm in Scranton, essentially, and Harry Chapin's all over Scranton.
Oh, wow. Really?
Besides, 30,000 pounds of bananas.
Oh, right.
Right? But you do a little digging, there's other songs. He used to come to town, do a show, but then hang around and hang out with people and get stories. So there's a song called Greyhound on his first album. Well, that's about him sitting in the Greyhound station, that they just tore down recently, waiting for his bus because he hated having to ride the bus.
Oh, wow.
And he goes, yeah, I have a, it's really hard to come by, but early concerts of him. And he talks about that. This song is inspired by such wonderful places as the Greyhound bus depot in Scranton. And,
No, that's so cool. That's great.
It's neat because wait a minute, across from my mother-in-law's place is the CYC where he used to play for like $2 to go see him too.
Man, incredible.
I know. Darn it. You know what? We've been on a long time. Let me let you go. Because I know we'll just keep prattling on.
I know the subtle be and we'll be like I know. I can talk on.
Right? Me too.
Oh, me too. Man.
And I'm telling you, and I knew that's what would happen. It would be addicting for you and I, because now getting to actually have a conversation is wonderful, but it's like a drug. Like, all right, more. All right, we barely scratched the surface.
I know.
But let's have you come on another time and we'll pick up where we left off, because I know, I always say this, the moment we get done.
Oh, I'm going to,
Right?
I'm going to be like, oh, I should have talked about Tom Waits,
You know what? I'll tell you, I don't know enough about him.
Oh, pretty cool.
Katie Tunstall likes him a great deal. I know that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's cool. He started off as kind of like in the early 70s, a singer-songwriter kind of guy.
Yeah.
And then he started going kind of weird, like making these like junkyard symphonies where it's really strange, but really cool. So we'll talk more about him. Yeah.
Yeah. Like John Denver I love John Denver.
It's great.
Well, he was a big Beatles fan. He did a lot of Beatles covers for fun and would do John Prine songs.
Oh, Prine.
Well, okay, see, I knew you were going to say that. I heard the name. I didn't know much about him except that John Denver would take his songs and make them his own. Well, every couple months, I'd get into a, what do you call it? Like a potluck. You show up, you bring a dish, but then after you eat, we all sit around in a big circle and jam.
Fun.
Well, the guys in this group would talk reverently about John Prine. And they'd say, great songwriter, not a great singer, and would write depressing stuff. So, but again, I'm doing like Angels from Montgomery, the way John Denver would do it. So it's got like the emotion behind it and, you know, that big release. So recently, maybe 4 months ago, I dive into John Prine. And they're right. Great songwriter.
Right.
Not the best singer, but some of those, like Sam Stone, great song.
Oh, that's a killer song.
But depressing if you really let it, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, I get in. He must have been related to the Jackson curse. I got into him. He dies.
Right? Maybe hold off on Tom Waits for a while, okay?
Okay.
Just hold on.
But once again, let's make sure everybody knows what to look for down the road. It's Slow Children at Play is your improv group.
Yes, Slow Children at Play. We're on Facebook. Just look for Slow Children at Play. On June 13th, we'll be doing a Zoom Facebook live show, June 13th, 7 p.m. West Coast time. So check that out.
Beautiful.
And yeah, that's
good. And I'll make sure that we do this again because.
Oh, please.
Yeah, this is fun, right?
I mean, I'll do this you can do this every day if you want.
Good.
I love it, man.
Don't tempt me because I swear to God I will.
Hey, I'm around and easily found, brother.
Thank you. I'll get this edited and post it and let you know.
Okay, cool.
Tell Jen I said hi. I don't know. I mean, that guy on Facebook. You know.
Hey, she charges me for photographs too.
Oh well, there you go.
I get a family discount. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'll pass it along, my friend. Absolutely.
All right.
Well,
I'll talk to you,
me, man. We'll do this again soon, and I'll see you in cyberspace in the meantime.
Yeah, like I said, buckle up because you're getting a whole bunch of videos starting tonight.
Thank you. Please.
You're welcome. And again, feel free to post on the pages anytime.
I will, for sure, man.
Also, do that with the improv group. Any video or any promotional stuff, that's what it's there for. It's there to spread all the good.
Yeah, now that we're just going to be going national with our live show so people can actually see it. So I'll do that. Yeah, so you don't have to come out to North Hollywood for us.
Perfect.
All right, my brother.
You have a good night.
You too. You and your family have a good one, my friend.
Thank you.
All right. See you up the road.
Okay, bye.
Thanks for listening. Music was provided by Harmony Constant. Subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube, Facebook, and Stitcher.
The Forever Adventure Network. Welcome to the adventure.